Check one, check one. Hey guys, this is Mason with the Duelist 101, and today I just wanted to talk to you guys a little bit more through the Phantom Knights. Like we said before, we are going to try to get you guys some solid gameplay videos, and with that, we thought it'd be a good idea for you guys to actually see us playing the games that we tell you guys that we play. So, today we're going to be going over the Phantom Knights. This is my personal deck list. So we have Dangerous Tsuchinoko, 2 copies of Phantom Knights of Ragged Gloves, 3 copies of Ancient Cloak, 3 copies of one of the new guys. That's tier scale. He works as kind of a double Foolish / Armageddon Knight, if you will. And then Danger Jackalope, just 1 copy of each of these Dangers. All they are extenders. There's no other reason to have them. Then we have 3 copies of Silent Boots. That is your 1 special summon from the hand. You have to have 3, and it allows you to get all of your Phantom Knight spells and traps. Gotta have them. 3 Ash, just because Ash. Then 1 Buster Destruction Sword. We can set up a Union Lock if we so choose. If we feel like the people that we are playing are going to be attacking us that way, we can set up a Union Carrier Lock from down here. Sometimes it's just necessary. We have 1 copy of Reinforcement of the Army because we are playing this, preparing it like it is in the TCG. So, Reinforcement of the Army, of course, is limited. 1 Foolish Burial. This, if you end up with no other play starters, this is a good one. This is a good one to start with. We have 1 copy of the Phantom Knights Rank Up Magic Launch. Now, this card, I might be underselling it a little bit just because there would be an option, if you so chose, to bring out Dark Requiem instead of Arc Rebellion, which, so that's Dark Requiem, Arc Rebellion there. And with Dark Rebellion, or excuse me, Dark Requiem, you are then allowed to Xyz summon from the graveyard every time you negate a monster effect, as long as you have Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon as material. So, it might be a little more necessary than that, but I like it like this. It keeps this deck pretty consistent. 3 Called by the Grave. The fact of the matter is, you're probably going to get ashed if you throw this guy down. It's going to happen. And so we absolutely have to have Called by the Grave. I would also recommend Psy Frame Gear Gamma. I don't play it, but I think it does have a lot of utility there. We have 3 of the new Rank Up spell. This thing is incredibly powerful, and if worse comes to worse, it's excellent discard material. Unfortunately, it does not have an effect in the grave, but if you get to kind of later game and all you have is an Xyz monster with no material, this is the way to go. We have 2 new traps that are coming out in Phantom Rage as well. Those 2 are Warning Point. When a monster is summoned this turn, that face-up monster cannot attack. Its effects are negated. Also, it cannot be used as material for a Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, or Link summon. All of that. Pretty incredible. We have Paleozoic Olenoids. And so the reason I have that in here, there's not a ton of removal within the Phantom Knights, not just a supreme amount. So I wanted to make sure to have these in there. They're also traps. I like traps. It allows you to control the board a little better, and you're probably going to play some strategies that rely on like a field spell or a continuous spell or utilizing something like that. Always good to pull that. Paleozoic Dynamiscus, another trap card. Target 1 face-up card, discard 1 card, and if you do, banish it. Really nice to be able to get rid of some really troublesome cards. Maybe cards that are resistant to destruction. Boom, you got it taken care of. This thing banishes, does not destroy. Then we have 3 copies of the Phantom Knights Fogblade. So that is a targeting skill drain, basically, and it prevents your opponent's monsters from attacking. All of that is pretty powerful. Then we have 2 of the Phantom Knight Sword. This is mostly in here because I like to toss it in order to revive some of my Phantom Knights, should I ever need to. Always super, super powerful in that way. And funny enough, whenever tier scale is in the graveyard and you banish a Phantom Knight's card, it will give you the choice to revive itself. as long as you're banishing another card. So funny enough, if you use the sword to try to revive this, your opponent negates the sword, your effect for tier scale can still go off. It's pretty powerful. And then lastly, we have one copy of one of the new Phantom Knights traps, Raider's Unbreakable Mind. This is always treated as a Phantom Knights and Raider Raptor card. If you see someone using a Dark Xyz material as Xyz monster as material, you can target one card on the field, destroy it. If this face-up card in the spell and trap zone is destroyed by a card effect, you can set one rank-up magic spell directly from your deck or graveyard to the field. If you have been playing for a while, you might recognize kind of the style of effect with the Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardish, which peep September ban list. Hopefully we get it. At least one copy. But incredibly powerful card, and especially useful whenever we get into the extra deck, which I will explain in a moment. Then we have Raid Raptor Phantom Knight's Claw. This is a monster negate. Sometimes the best board you're going to have opening turn is going to be Bajinki, Ahashma, and then Breaksword. And it's not the best thing in the world, but if it's what it comes down to, it's what it is. And so that is just one extra monster negate if you need it. So also destroys the card, which is pretty powerful. Then let's move into the extra. We'll start with our rank 3s. The Phantom Knights of Breaksword. Always super important. This is your play starter in a lot of ways as far as getting into the extra deck and being able to knock out your opponent with that one punch. And so with Breaksword, it can destroy itself when it's on the field, send itself to the graveyard, and whenever it's sent to the graveyard, it can revive 2 Phantom Knights monsters and raise their levels by 1, which enables you to go into our next one, Raider's Knight. This is one of the new Xyz monsters that is coming out in Phantom Rage. And so with this card, you can detach one material from this card, special summon from your extra deck, one, the Phantom Knights, Raid Raptor, or Xyz Dragon monster that is 1 rank higher or lower than this card by using this face-up card you control as material, but destroy it during your opponent's next end phase. So, a lot of words, but what it means is it is an automatic rank up into, hopefully, Arc Rebellion. Or, if you choose to go this route, if you're needing to start this out early, you can go into Dark Requiem instead. So, then we have Time Thief Redoer. This is one of my personal picks. I love this card, and it's just so fascinating. But the best thing about this card is if you need to be more in an offensive position, it's really good to have this card available to you. Just kind of very much a utility thing. You could honestly definitely replace that if you wanted to. We have Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon. The reason we have this card is for Dark Requiem. Dark Rebellion, you can detach 2 materials from this card, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls. Its attack becomes half its current attack, and if it does, this card gains that lost attack. So, with Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon, it's a nice way to weaken some of your opponent's monsters as long as they are not immune to targeting, which is pretty powerful in and of itself. A lot of these monsters don't have super high attacks, so any way to decrease that is helpful. Then we're going to go over to Dark Requiem. Now, this one says if this card has Dark Rebellion Xyz Dragon as material. That's why it's important to play Dark Rebellion. That's why it's important to play Rank Up Magic Launch. Alright, so Dark Requiem, once per turn, you can detach one material from this card, then target one face-up monster your opponent controls, change its attack to 0, and if you do, this card gains attack equal to that monster's original attack. You can steal all of the attack from somebody if you so choose, but here's the really just bonkers effect. When your opponent activates a monster effect, quick effect, you can detach one material from this card, negate the activation, and if you do destroy that card, then you can special summon one Xyz monster from your graveyard. So, as far as the grind game, the Phantom Knights are set up really, really nicely because you can continue reviving your Xyz monsters as you're destroying your opponent's monsters, which is just insane to me. And last, for the Xyz monsters, we have Arc Rebellion Xyz Dragon. This is one of the new ones coming out in Phantom Rage. Looking at you, November. This Xyz summon card cannot be destroyed by card effect. Now, here's why that's important. Raider's Knight destroys the monster you rank up into at the end of your opponent's turn. next turn. So if you have this card on the field, this card can't be destroyed because it cannot be destroyed by card effects. You can detach one material from this card. You can only declare an attack with this card for the rest of this turn. Also, this card gains attack equal to the combined original, that's important, attack of all other face-up monsters on the field, even on your opponent's side. Then, if this card has a Dark Xyz monster as material, negate the effects of all other face-up monsters on the field. This card is a game ender. That is the new win con that we got to discuss in our podcast. So, we have Infinitrack Fortress Megaclops. It takes 3 Xyz monsters. We make Xyz monsters. Why not? This thing is nearly indestructible, except to the effects of Xyz monsters. So why not have it? Why not? Why not, you know? Bajinki Ahashima. So 2 monsters of the same level. As long as you have 3, a total of 3, level 3 monsters that you are able to, you can at least get 2 on the field, then you can have this card on your opening play. The best thing here is that you get this card plus 1 Xyz monster. My personal pick is Breaksword. I have tried out going into 2 Cicada King. I don't remember what number card that is, but it's another Xyz monster, and it is a once per turn monster effect negate. So it's if you're not expecting a lot from your opponent, it's a good way to start. So then what's really cool is if this Xyz monster, if an Xyz monster this card points to activates an effect, let's see here, by detaching material except during the damage step, you can target 1 spell trap your opponent controls, destroy it. So let's say they got that field spell. Let's say they got, you're playing Altergeist and they are all about the traps, right? This is the kind of thing that you want to have. We have Union Carrier. We do sometimes get into the Buster Lock, and it hurts a majority of your opponents, so why not have it in there? I will say my extra deck skills are not just the most refined, so I will say there's lots of room for change within this kind of build. This is my personal favorite because it allows me to get to Arc Rebellion the most often, but if my opponent is just driving me into the ground with their extra deck, or I'm playing a combo deck like, say, Adamancipator or Synchron Eldritch or whatever, then it's really good to have this kind of extra deck lock, because so many of their plays revolve around that. So then we have Cherubini of the Burning Abyss, and so I mean, I really like this. Monsters this card points to cannot be destroyed by card effects. And that's nice and everything. You can send 1 level 3 monster from deck to graveyard. If you're paying attention, every single monster we have in here is a level 3, except Buster Destruction. So, if you just totally bricked, but you can get Cherubini out, it's not all over. You have a chance, just work through it. So, that takes it for the main. And the extra in the side, I have 3DD Crow, 3 Effect Veiler, 3 Dark Ruler, 3 Cosmic, and 3 Anti-Spell. Anti-Spell especially works out really nicely because so much of our strategy is built around traps anyway. So why not just make it a little bit harder for your opponent to interact? So let's clear that out. I just wanted to show a few replays. Here, as you can see, there's a lot of them, I know. Let's see here. I know it says do replay 1 and 3, but I was bad. So in this first match, it's Zach and I are playing each other, and so this is my opening grip, not too shabby at all. And then that is Zach's right there. He looks to be playing Cubics, which you can tell by that, but I'll be honest, his hand is not that good. Ours, also not that good. So we are going to let this hit play. So Zach starts us off with Summoner Monk. He's going to discard the spell Cubic Dharma right here in order to special summon a level 4 monster. Thankfully, we have the Ash to cancel that out. So we keep going. And then he tries to activate the effect of Danger Tsuchinoko, succeeds, ends up getting Nightmare Cerberus on the field. Not great. Now this, we just got the perfect card And we get to trigger Tsuchinoko just because it was discarded. Excuse me. We banished the Phantom Knights of Ancient Cloak to add any Phantom Knights card, or the Phantom Knights card, to our hand, which means all of our monsters. So we added Silent Boots in order to special summon it. So let's keep it going. Now, we Exceed Summon into Break Sword. As we can tell, we're going to activate his effect, knock out Nightmare Cerberus, activate Break Sword again to special summon and raise the levels of my Phantom Knights. Go into Raider's Knight, activate Raider's Knight's effect in order to bring out Arc Rebellion, Exceeds Dragon, and then we triggered Silent Boots effect. We activated his effect in the graveyard in order to add a Phantom Knight's Fogblade to hand. So far, this board isn't too bad. It's not going to end the game right this second, but what it is going to do is we've still got one searching negate. We have a little bit of protection. This actually adds 800 to one of our monsters. And then once per turn, or once while it's in the graveyard, you no, that's a lie. Let me see here. If so, this is a continuous trap. So it gains 800 attack. If the target would be destroyed by a battle or card effect, you can just send this card to the grave instead. But good news, that attack boost, I believe, stays. So then we have the Raiders Unbreakable Mind. We can go ahead and play that just because, I mean, I guess there's a chance that we get to it. And then Fogblade, of course. So, to be honest, based on Zach's grip, we are looking like we're in pretty good shape here. We lay down our traps and attack into him with Arc Rebellion. So not too bad, not too difficult. He's going to trigger Foolish Burial Goods, and we are absolutely going to ash that because I know for a fact that Zach, some of Zach's Cubic's card, I believe it's Karma, when banished from the graveyard will allow him to add a Cubic card to hand. So we're going to make sure he cannot do that. We're going to go ahead and trigger a couple of our traps, and he can't do anything. And you noticed Arc Rebellion here kind of flashed up on the screen. The reason for that is because its own effect was protecting it from Raider's Knight effect. So we just drew amazing. Again, love this card so much. And so we're going to normal summon him, go into Cherubini, add another Phantom Knight. So there's a reason for this, right? We are actually going to try to, I believe, go into another Break Sword here. Yeah, so we're going to special summon Tier Scale and Silent Boots and attack into him for game. So that's game one. Not too bad, not too shabby. And we'll do just one more game because I forgot to record the other one. Sorry, guys. All right, we're going to pause it right here. So Zach is playing Sky Striker. Sky Striker is not necessarily a bad matchup, but I will say this is not the best version of Sky Striker. And if you listen to our podcast, check us out on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, whatever. Zach fully admits that, and he's very okay with it. But Sky Striker excels at putting spells in the graveyard, which only boosts the effects that they have. So we're actually going to swap this over so we can see our stuff. Our grip isn't bad at all. So we've got our ultimate play starter here. That's the one we want to go off. So in this case, we have an Ash, so hopefully that helps us out. All right, so sets a couple of spells. And he linked summon into Kagari. Tries to trigger, Metal Foe's Fusion, which it would, I believe, whenever it's shuffled into the deck, allow him to draw a card. So we are going to ash that. Cannot let him have cards. Go into, I believe, Shizuku. Add a spell to hand. And end his turn. So this is pretty sweet, right? We ripped another Ash off the top. Not a bad situation. In case you're wondering about the attack decrease here, that is because of Shizuku's effect. And I believe there are... Let's see here. I believe, yeah. It's Shizuku's effect because he has 2 spells in grave. We lose 100 attack and defense for every spell over there. So he's going to trigger Shark Cannon, which is basically DD Crow, banishes a card from the graveyard. And so we're going to go ahead and flip a couple cards, add Silent Boots to our hand, go into Break Sword. We're going to clear out that Shizuku, go into Raider's Knight here in a moment. And then we are going to go into Arc Rebellion. And we are in a pretty good position to win this thing. So now, instead of Fogblade, I added Phantom Knight's Claw. See, Phantom Knight's Claw is a monster negate that will also destroy. And it keeps me from having to use up my Fogblades. So, pretty good situation here. So, attack into him for 3,000. Not too bad. About the most we could do there. And thankfully, we drew the Ash off the top in the previous turn, so we're going to stop that. He's going to use Shark Cannon again. And now he's going to take over our Break Sword, which just feels wrong. We're going to activate Arc Rebellion's effect, attack over Break Sword, and he's down to 2,000. We're in pretty good shape here. Now he gets to use Metal Foe's Fusion. He's going to use Widow Anchor because he has 3 or more spells in the graveyard. He's able to take our monster to the end phase. We get him back. We're not hurting too bad. And we're just going to attack into him for game. See if it happens. Oh, tragic. So he gets to activate a token. That is fine. We have to wait till the next turn. He's going to banish another monster. We're going to go ahead and destroy that other trap. And now we are going to chill out because he keeps taking our monsters. There we go. So now it looks like Zach is on a 1-turn clock, provided he doesn't draw a monster. He doesn't. He decides to destroy a Fogblade, and we are going to attack into him for game. So overall, a lot of what we saw with the Phantom Knights, they do have some versatility here, but to be honest, what they do best, especially with the coming support in Phantom Rage, is going to be the level of OTK that they can do. They are pretty adept at breaking boards. We didn't see Zach put up a ton of negates, but we saw him put up a bunch of challenging monsters. So I think in the future we might get some more replays. Check us out for our next podcast. Hopefully we'll be up about 12 noon Eastern time next Monday at time of posting this. And then I think we're going to be talking about Cyber Dragon. So if you guys will, catch us on there. You can also catch us on YouTube. So make sure anywhere you can find podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google, whatever you prefer. And then you can find us here on YouTube at any moment. So guys, thanks for hanging out with us. And see you next time.